Just
Okay.
want to say with the immigration stuff that's happening.
Yes.
Um, it's already happening on the low low. See, they weren't supposed to announce, oh, we're doing raids here and we're doing raids there. So
Right.
you're not going to see an announcement and then shit happens. You're going to see little things happen. I woke up this morning to a notification in my ring neighborhood, app or whatever, saying, oh, have you guys seen these ICE vans around? In my
Mm.
neighborhood. Now they deleted it, so I don't know what happened with it. It could have been mistaken identity or whatever, but I just want people to be vigilant. And I know that some people are thinking, well, I'm not an immigrant. This is why I want you to be vigilant because you have to understand that in some states, for instance, like Georgia and in Louisiana, the suspicion of your citizenship is enough to be arrested. That was something that happened from these Republican trifectas. And so, what we're going to see is much more so called enforcement of that. And there's going to be a lot more interrogation of those kind of things. And some people might feel tempted to be like, oh, I don't have to tell you nothing. Da, da, da. But I'm just saying it would behoove everybody to read up on some of these resources, like from the ACLU and other places, about what your rights are. What is an administrative warrant versus a judicial warrant? Those kinds of things, because that's going to be important over the coming weeks, regardless of your citizenship status, because you may fit the bill. You may look Haitian to somebody, or they might want to decide that they think it's you look Haitian, or you might look Venezuelan or
That's right.
Nicaraguan or whatever the hell the situation may be. So I just want you all to be
You might look
vigilant.
Nigerian. You might look like you're from the Congo. Whatever. It's a variety.
Exactly. Yep.
He's brought up
So
the Congo.
right. So I'm just telling y'all that this stuff is happening on the low low right now and to be careful because you might say the wrong thing or a certain thing and you might be in jail and having to figure the shit out from jail, from detention.
Yeah.
So just be careful. It is starting already. And the other thing I want to point out that actually makes me even more concerned, I talked earlier about the Nazi salute, is there is a call to action now. And there are people that are going to self deputize as ICE agents, as police, where
Yeah.
we've seen throughout the country where there have been flyers of people saying, oh, call this number, hotlines to report people you suspect of being immigrants. We've seen videos on social media of people recording license plates of cars coming through their neighborhoods. So I just want people to be vigilant because we are entering, and I'm not trying to fearmonger. I just want people to have more situational awareness than maybe they would have had because there are an
Yeah.
emboldened group of people out there
Especially if
that,
they have teenagers, kids who are
mm-hmm,
teenagers, 17, 18 years old. Yeah.
all of that stuff. There are people that are emboldened out there who feel like they have the ability and the authority now to police the presence of others in this country. Not just, oh, well, do you live over here? Like, you don't even belong in this country. So
Yeah.
I just say that because I'm concerned about how many people now they've been waiting, itching, and been chomping at the bit to get to this day where they can be these paddle rollers, as Dr. Carr, now y'all listen to Dr. Carr says.
Hmm.
And that is a level of vigilantism, a level of destruction that we've seen in our country before. And we know that these people are very much capable of it. So be careful, be vigilant, and before you already in an exchange with somebody, just read up on your rights. And Clay, you said it so much so good. Educate your children on these things
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
I just want to know, are y'all satisfied with the trade-off? Because I asked this before, the proportion and the weight that people put on whatever stupid ass little comments that they misinterpreted from Kamala Harris, or the proportion that they weight on, look at what the Asians got, which now I think, can you see all of the things that the blacks were getting under Biden that Donald Trump and them didn't have no problem discovering, so they can undo swiftly. The proportion that people put on this idea that your child is going to be the next Simone Biles or the next Allison Felix or the next LeBron James, but for some mythical trans super athlete child competing against them that you have to stop. The proportion that you put on that, was that worth the trade-off for your insulin prices, for your prescription medication prices, for what will be covered for your health care, preventative health care, actually when you get sick? Oh, and for trying to stop the doctors from being racist against you and assuming because you're Black, you're lying about how much pain you're in, or these formulas that are racist towards Black people that decide whether or not you can get an organ transplant. Was that worth every single piece of progress that they're not only trying to just roll back, but they're trying to install a status quo that is beyond just let things, case the raw stay raw, just let whatever happens happen. We know that when we do that, then white people are going to benefit because of all these intrinsic things, qualities within us, and because the system is already stacked against everybody else. They're not satisfied with that. Now, what they are ushering in is a status quo where whiteness is the default, and anything away from that requires a penalty. It requires an investigation and interrogation. It requires a lawsuit, reparations even. Was it worth it? I just want to really know, because let's not bullshit, stand on business. Oh, by the way, what Donald Trump has said, oh, that's not my war about Gaza. Well, I don't know if it's on the ceasefire that he took credit for. And people had the audacity to say, thanks to Donald Trump, the ceasefire happened, when actually it was thanks to Donald Trump telling Bibi Netanyahu to keep this fucked up war going so that he can win, even though he had no intentions of adhering to this ceasefire that people who are so stupid gave Donald Trump credit for. And yesterday he's fantasizing about building condos basically on Gaza.
Let me read that quote. Let me read that. I don't want to play his voice. Let me read that quote, Reese. Reporter asked him if he's, are you confident you can keep the ceasefire in Gaza? He said, I'm not confident. That's not our war. It's their war. I'm not confident. They are weakened on that side. Reporter, do you support? I looked at a picture of Gaza. Gaza is like a massive demolition site. It has to be rebuilt a different way. Reporter, do you plan on helping rebuild Gaza? I might help rebuild it. Gaza is interesting. It's a phenomenal location. It's on the sea. Best weather. Everything's good. It's like some beautiful things can be done with it. It's very interesting. Fantastic things can be done in Gaza.
Oh, and by the way, he said, when they asked, well, who's going to be the leaders? Who's going to lead Gaza? Who's going to govern it? Well, yeah, it can't be the people there. They're all dead. I thought that the Biden-Harris policy,
and he also said they didn't exactly run it well.
I was very critical of the Biden-Harris administration. They were too easy on Israel. However, it was so clear that the direction and the intent, at least to try to stop the carnage, and the intent to establish a two-state solution, and an attempt to, and a belief that Palestinians should govern themselves, was their official position. And now we got Trump reversing the limits on the kind of bombs that are being sent. Any kind of bombs being sent are bad, in my view. But again, the Biden administration was trying to leverage certain things to try to get Israel to pare back. Now they're unleashed. So I just want to know from people, this isn't hypothetical now, what Donald Trump is going to do. Was it worth it? Was it worth it? Now he's done this thing with the sex. Now, okay, do y'all understand when we've been telling you sex and gender are two different things? Okay. Now that he's done it, do you feel better? Are you going to feel better when you go pay for your prescription drugs? Or when you go to get them egg prices, that's still going to be the same? Or you'll get your gas prices still going to be the same? Or when another fucking hurricane goes through? Or wildfires or anything? For those of you who stood home, who stayed home because Kamala Harris was whack, or because of whatever stupid fucking reason that had nothing to do with policy and nothing to do with recognizing the
Because you didn't like the
carnage.
way she answered the question on The View.
Right. And ignored Donald Trump's last 4 years in office, which he just withdrew from the World Health Organization. One of the
Just
few
withdrew from the
sane
world.
parts of the COVID response that we had under Trump. Was it worth it? Because we tried to tell you. We tried to tell you.